welcome to another YouTube video. I am Hype the Commentator, and thank you all for joining me today as we continue the road to WrestleMania. Today, we are taking a look back at WrestleMania 35 at MetLife Stadium. 5 years prior, it was WrestleMania in New Orleans when Daniel Bryan would defeat Randy Orton Batista in the main event to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Well, we're taking a look when it was Kofi Mania going up against the man that was WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan, who was WWE Champion. Kofi Kingston looking to become the first African-American WWE Champion. Could it happen? Will it happen? Well, we already know what happened. Let's take a look back at this historic match between Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan back at WrestleMania 35 at MetLife Stadium. Let's get right into it. Here we go. It's Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston with all the momentum behind him. Kofi Mania. Will Kofi finish his story and become the first African-American to ever win the WWE Championship? There's a lot at stake. History in the making. Can Kofi Kingston do it? The fans are electric for Kofi Mania. Daniel Bryan having his moment 5 years ago at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, when he defeated Randy Orton and Batista in the main event to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, overcoming all the odds. Can Kofi Kingston overcome all the odds tonight and become the WWE Champion? These two back to square one. These two feeling each other out. The fans are electric. You can hear the chant, Kofi Mania. They want to see it. They want to see Kofi Kingston finally realize his dream, make history, and become WWE Champion as these two lock up collar and elbow. Bryan taking control of the wrist of Kingston. And Daniel Bryan is so technically talented, so technically sound. But Kofi Kingston with a side headlock on Bryan. Side headlock takeover on the champion. Bryan with a head scissor to Kingston. Kingston trying to break out of it. And Daniel Bryan calling Kofi Kingston a B-plus player. The same term the Authority called Daniel Bryan when he was looking to become WWE Champion all those years ago. And now trying to outmuscle each other. Daniel Bryan flipped over Kingston and a double knees, but Kofi Kingston landing on his feet with a huge drop kick sends Daniel Bryan to the outside onto the floor. Kofi Kingston has Daniel Bryan right where he wants him. Kofi Kingston heading up to the sky and he flies and he takes out Bryan to the outside on the floor. Kofi Kingston is reeling and Kingston has the momentum. Look at the support for Kofi Kingston in the back as they're all watching on the monitor. And Bryan rolls to the outside, trying to buy himself some time to recover. And trying to regroup here with Rowan. They're having some sort of conversation, not quite sure what the plan is. But we've seen how Rowan has come into play in the past in Daniel Bryan's matches throughout his defenses. With the champion's advantage, Daniel Bryan can get counted out and leave WrestleMania as the champion, even if he loses the match. This is Kofi Kingston's very first one-on-one match at WrestleMania, but Bryan with a clubbing blow to the midsection of Kingston. The WWE Championship is on the line. It seemed Kofi Kingston was reeling back in 2009, but it would be Randy Orton who'd stop all that momentum. And we took a look at that in the past as Kofi Kingston sends Bryan in the ropes. Shoulder tackle to Kingston. Bryan is rallying. Kofi Kingston leapfrog. Oh, Bryan catches Kingston in midair. Look at this. Look at this from Bryan. Great defense from Bryan blocking Kofi Kingston's attack. A submission specialist that Bryan is. Looking for that Romero special. And the pain, you can feel it in your knees. You can feel it in your arms. All that pressure being put onto the knees of Kofi Kingston. All the damage that's being done to Kingston right now will wear Kofi Kingston as this match continues. The longer Kofi Kingston's in this hold, the worse it's going to get. But Kofi Kingston able to break free. Went for a kick, kicks the side of the leg. And now Kingston on the attack to Daniel Bryan, who is down on his feet. Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, two of the most talented WWE superstars today. And Kofi Kingston has super athleticism. He's like a superhero, the way he can fly. But Daniel Bryan, speaking of flying, flies over Kofi Kingston, lands on his feet. And Bryan picking momentum. But Kofi Kingston stomps in the chest of Bryan. 1, 2. And Bryan kicks at it 2. That double stomp may have not gotten all of it, but it was enough to keep Bryan down for 2. And with every kick out, Bryan exhausts energy. And this is a huge night for Kofi Kingston. And you'd think all the pressure might get to him, but it seems Kofi Kingston's been doing this for so long. He seems very calm, very focused. Bryan looking perhaps for that stretch muffler, it seemed. You're not going to out wrestle. You're not going to out technical wrestle Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan out grappling Kofi Kingston. And now these clubbing blows, forearms to the back of the head of Kingston. This will really do it to the challenger as he pulls on the hair of Kingston. It's not legal. And going for a backdrop suplex, but Kingston lands on his feet. Kingston, boom, what a huge leaping clothesline to Bryan. Kofi is feeling it. He's fired up. The boom drop. The boom drop from Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston is fired up. Perhaps looking to put Bryan away early. Baseball slide sends Bryan off the ring apron to the outside on the floor as Kofi Kingston has Bryan right where he wants him. Kofi Kingston has got something high risk, high reward in mind. But flies. Oh my God. Kofi Kingston crashes and burns face first off the announce desk. Daniel Bryan just moved out of the way just in the nick of time. The New Day are worried. They can't believe what they just saw. And Kofi Mania could be canceled right after that one. Daniel Bryan taking control. That'll stop all the momentum of Kofi Mania for the time being. Can Kofi Kingston find his way back in this? Let's take a look at this one more time. The way Kofi Kingston crashed and burned into our announce desk did not look pretty. Let's take a look at this one more time from a different angle. The way his chest, the way his face bounced off the announce desk is going to cost Kofi Kingston in the long run as Daniel Bryan takes control. Daniel Bryan's going to that place. Knee to the back of Kingston. This dark place we've seen ever since he took the title from AJ Styles back in October to win the WWE Championship. After that low blow, we saw a huge change in the mindset of Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan pulling out the dark side, pulling out all the stops, doing whatever it takes to be the best. Do whatever it takes to retain his championship. And look at these kicks to the midsection of Kofi Kingston, who is draped over the top rope. And Bryan heading up to the top. And Daniel Bryan gonna fly. And a knee to the back of Kingston, who's draped over the top rope. And that's going to do some damage to the back of Kingston. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. 2 count. Going to exhaust some energy with that energy needing to be used to kick out of the cover. To be kicked out of the cover. And look at this knee to the back one more time. Bryan beautifully placed knee to the back of Kofi Kingston. And Bryan is now going to be able to pick apart Kingston like he's dinner. And now we're going to have to find out, and we're going to see what Kofi Kingston's made of. When the times get tough, that's when you got to push through. That's when you got to show what you're made of, that you want to be the champion, that you want to be the top of WWE. You want to be the top of the mountain, the top of the food chain. Kofi Kingston wants all the gold. He wants to show that he truly has it, that he deserves it, that he's worked all this way. He's come all this way to become the WWE champion. But Daniel Bryan is doing everything he can to make sure that does not happen as Bryan is in control. has control of the waist of Kingston, putting all that pressure. Bridge cover. Oh, only enough for a 1 count. Kofi Kingston rolling out of that. Kofi Kingston exhausted all that pressure from the muscles of Bryan's forearms on the waist of Kingston, and it's making it harder for Kofi Kingston to breathe. And with every breath, Kofi Kingston becoming more and more exhausted as he loses air, gasping for just anything he can get. The WWE superstars in the back showing their support for Kofi Kingston. Kofi trying to make history here at WrestleMania. Bryan, takedown. Kofi Kingston. Bryan still holding onto that waist. Has waist control still. Bridging cover, one more, but only enough for a 1 count once again. Another bridging 1 count. And really holding onto the waist the best he can. Bryan has not let go, has not let loose of that grip. In fact, it's getting tighter. Kofi Kingston trying to fight through this. Bryan has had this lock-in for the last several minutes, and with every second that Bryan has this hold, more and more energy is being exhausted from the challenger as Kofi Kingston's dream slips away, fades away. Back elbow, desperation from Kingston. He's trying to break free, trying to show that he has fight left, trying to show that he's worthy of being the WWE champion. Backs Daniel Bryan into the corner. Back elbows. Now isolating Bryan in the corner with these back elbows, leaving Bryan nowhere to go. And now Kofi is finally broken free. Bryan is stunned for the time being. But what does Kofi Kingston have left? Drop hold sends Kofi Kingston face first into the middle turnbuckle. And just like that, Bryan taking control. Bryan looking to pick up the pace. And the drop kicks in the corner. And we know a couple more are coming from Bryan. Kofi tried to shake it off, but Bryan with a second one. And a third one could spell the beginning of the end for Kofi Mania. But Kofi Mania with a stomp. But no, it got caught. It got caught by Bryan. Look at this. The submission specialist. Look at this from Bryan. Knee right in the spine of Kingston. The torque on the back, on the spine of the challenger. Kofi Kingston trying to fight through. And now the Boston Crab is locked in full effect with all the weight on the spine. Look at the way Kofi Kingston's back, his body is bent. Daniel Bryan, 200 pounds on the back of Kingston. Kofi Kingston able to make it to the bottom rope. And that forces a rope break as Kingston keeps his dream alive for just a little bit longer. And Kingston spent a significant amount of time in that Boston Crab submission. How much damage is being done to the back? Bryan has been targeting the back of Kofi Kingston since the beginning of this match. By the end, is Kofi Kingston going to be able to stand? Will Kofi Kingston walk away as the champion? I think for Kofi Kingston, it might just be survival at this point. The stakes are high. What a kick to the chest of Kingston, who's writhing in pain. And this is where legends are born. This is where history is made, where Hall of Fame careers are born. Legacies are cemented on the greatest stage of them all. There's a reason WrestleMania is referred to as the showcase of immortals, because this is where the immortals compete. And now Kingston sends Bryan off the top, but Bryan's back up to his feet. Unwanted clubbing blows the back of Kingston. Kingston, no time to recover at all. Back elbows to Bryan again. Bryan gets back up to his feet for a third time. Bryan is not giving up. Back elbow to Bryan again. Another back elbow. Kingston doing everything he can to fight off Bryan. Can he do it? And Bryan falls off. Now, finally, down goes Bryan, and he's not able to get back up right away this time. Kingston, bell rung for a little bit, but Kofi Kingston, with a few seconds to recover, needs to use this time wisely to regroup, to get himself back together, as that WWE Championship is on the line, and splashes right onto the back of Bryan. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Oh, and Bryan kicks out at 2. Kofi Kingston thought he had it, but it was not enough to keep down Daniel Bryan. Every move, everything, these superstars in the back watching on, cheering as they see Kofi Kingston giving it everything he's got, fighting with every ounce of his being to make history, to become the first ever African-American WWE champion. Kofi Kingston clubbing blow to the face of Bryan. Bryan fights back with a blow of his own as these two trade blows in the center of the ring. Who wants it more? Who's going to take control of this match? And with each blow back and forth, these two hitting each other harder and harder. And here we go. Now we have a slugfest going on between these two in the center of the ring on the grandest stage of them all. For the WWE Championship, Bryan looking for clothesline, but Kingston blocked it. Trouble in Paradise, but he got blocked by Bryan and he gets caught. Boston Crab, but rolls through cover. 1, 2. Oh, Bryan 1, 2. Oh, very close. Oh, but Kingston reverses, thinking SOS, but sent into the corner by Bryan. Now a back elbow to Bryan. Kofi Kingston, you can see the damage his body's been done. Springboard, high cross body. 1, 2. Bryan rolls through, hooks through. 1, 2. And Kofi able to kick out. Daniel Bryan, oh, the yes lock in the center of the ring. The lapel lock, locked in the center of the ring. What a kick to Kofi to Bryan. Daniel Bryan not able to fully get that lapel lock locked in the center of the ring. And the fans are electric. The WWE superstars in the back are electric as they see Kofi Kingston giving it everything he's got, seemingly getting closer and closer to capturing the biggest win of his career on capturing the WWE Championship. This building is rumbling. The fans are electric for Kofi Mania, but Bryan just stomping the chest in of Kingston. And just like that, Bryan stopping all the momentum of Kofi Mania. Kofi Kingston had all that momentum, and Bryan squashing that momentum. Bryan looking for the running knee. A running knee that's won him world championships in the past. Bryan with a smirk on his face, closing in on ending Kofi Mania, on taking everything away that Kofi Kingston had. All that momentum with a running knee, but Kofi Kingston ducked, rolls through, cover. 1, 2. Oh, Bryan kicks out at 2. Kofi Kingston, S, that's it. 1, 2. Oh, but Bryan, lapel lock in the center of the ring. Center of the ring, nowhere to go. This could be over. Kofi Mania could end via submission. Kingston's beginning to fade as he writhes in pain. The New Day worried on the outside. The fans are anxious. This is a nail biter right now. Now Bryan with his elbows to the midsection of Kingston, trying to weaken him. Pulling back as far as he can. The fans are cheering. New Day rocks. They want Kofi Kingston to pull out the victory. But Bryan giving it everything he's got to put down Kingston. Kofi Kingston trying to get his foot on the bottom rope. He's so close, and he does. He gets the tip of his shoe on the bottom rope. Kofi Kingston survives just a little bit longer. And Daniel Bryan thought he had it, but Kofi Kingston is still in this. And Bryan still has that smirk on his face. That smirk, realize it's over. He's laughing. He senses that Kofi Kingston is injured. He's wounded. He's almost done. Dunzo. And Big E trying to hype up Kofi Kingston, trying to hype up his fellow New Day member, but it might be too late. What a kick to the ribs of Kingston, who falls back to one knee. And with each strike, this is what's going to take Kofi Kingston from to being great to being historic. If he can survive this, if he can pull through and overcome all the odds. And you can hear Xavier saying, you've got more left. You've got it left in the tank. Kofi Kingston showing that he can hang with Bryan. He's fought through everything. Kofi Kingston showing how much he wants this, but how far is Kofi Kingston willing to go as this match continues? With every second that goes by, with every bit of pain that Kingston takes, he's saying he wants more. This is where legends are born, where Hall of Famers are made. Kofi Kingston firing back. Kofi Kingston's not done yet. Boot to the midsection of Kingston stops his momentum. And now a huge... but Kingston turns things around. Dragon Sleeper. And now slamming Bryan right into the mat. Cover. Cover. 1, 2. Bryan kicks out at 2. Daniel Bryan thought it was over. Kofi Kingston thinking it's over. Daniel Bryan thought that he was about to lose his championship, but as Daniel Bryan tries to recover, Kingston being blocked by Eric Rowan. And Woods trying to get in the way, put the claw on the head, and just gets thrown over our announce desk. Oh, what a huge clothesline to Big E. And Eric Rowan is just too strong, just too big, and too powerful. Trouble in Paradise from Kingston, taken out. Rowan, but Rowan's rocked. He's still on his feet. Big E has up Rowan. You gotta be kidding me. Midnight hour, taking out Eric Rowan. The Rowan problem has just been solved. Bryan incoming, but gets caught with a clubbing blow from Kofi Kingston. Bryan got caught by Kofi Kingston. Kofi could be closing in. The fans are electric. This could be over. Bryan ducks. Oh, running knee! Running knee! And that's it. Kofi Mania's over. 1, 2. Oh, but Kofi Kingston still has it left. Still has something left in the tank. There's still a chance for Kofi Kingston, who stays alive in this one. Daniel Bryan cannot believe it. He just hit Kofi Kingston with his best move, and it was not enough to end Kofi Mania. It was not enough to keep Kofi Kingston down for the 3. One more time with that running knee. That was picture perfect, but not enough to keep Kofi Kingston down. Kofi Kingston digging down deep, giving it everything he's got. He's not done yet. He's pushing through everything to give Daniel Bryan everything he's got. Kofi Kingston not where he wants to be. Bryan looking to stomp the head in of Kofi Kingston. This isn't going to be pretty. Stomping a mud hole into the head of Kingston. Right in front of Kofi Kingston's New Day brothers, his family. This is, it's just devastating to watch. You're just seeing the lifeless body of Kofi Kingston just continually being beaten as the end of Kofi Mania seems to be near. Bryan now turning it into the label lock as he takes his time, slowly locking it in. Kingston writhing in pain. He's in the center of the ring in no man's land. And Kingston, it's just a matter of moments before Kofi Kingston has to say, I quit, I give up, tapping out. If there's anything left, Kofi Kingston's going to continue to fight. He's not where he wants to be. He's got to pull through. The ref pulls the arm. There's still something left. Kofi Kingston's not done yet. But Bryan with his clubbing blows to the side of the head, trying to wear down Kingston. And now pulls back even further on this label lock. And the fans are chanting, look at this, Kingston's breaking the lock. They're cheering Kofi on. The fans are helping Kofi get through this. But Kofi, look at Kofi. Now with a clubbing blow to Bryan. Bryan trying to turn into a label lock again. But look at Kingston. Now look at Kingston trying to fight through. Still has a hold of that arm of Kingston. And Kingston breaking free again with his clubbing blows right to the face of Bryan. And Kingston has fight left in him. He's doing whatever it takes to fulfill his destiny, to finish his story. And you can hear Xavier Woods saying, give him what he deserves, all the pain that he's caused to the New Day, returning it right back and giving a reality check to Daniel Bryan. Here's a vibe check for you. Stomping away on Bryan, repaying the favor. Kofi Kingston is fired up. It could be moments away. Kofi Kingston is feeling it. This could be it right here, right now. He's feeling it. He's measuring up Daniel Bryan for what could be the final moments of this match. There were moments where we thought Kofi Mania was over, but it seems Kofi Mania is going to end in the best way possible with a Trouble in Paradise. That's it. 1, 2, 3. Kofi Kingston has done it. He's fulfilled his destiny. An emotional New Day celebrating in the ring with Kofi Kingston, who has done it, becoming the first African-American WWE champion. Kofi Kingston finally winning the big one. Kingston finally, after 11 long years, becoming the WWE champion. Kofi Kingston gave it everything he had. In the end, he was able to pull out all the stops. And Kingston can call himself WWE champion. All right, everyone. And that was Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35. Kofi Mania was on fire. In the end, it would be a trouble in paradise for Kofi Kingston to cement his legacy and become the WWE champion after 11 long years of fighting and giving it everything he's got inside the squared circle. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in to today's video. Don't forget, follow me on all my socials at Hype the Commentator on Instagram, on Twitch, on TikTok, Hype Commentator on X. Thank you all for all the love and support, and I will see you all in the next one.